Welcome to Hoopfest. Spokane's Hoopfest is the world's largest 3-on-3 basketball tournament. Over 24,000 basketball players will participate in this year's event, supported by over 500 court monitors like you and over 2,000 other volunteers. A flagrant foul is a foul so aggressive and physical that it's savage or violent in nature, and the fouled player is vulnerable to injury. Such fouls show a total disregard for the opponent. It is not necessarily intentional and does not need to be preceded by a warning from you. Players committing flagrant fouls will be removed from the game and possibly the remainder of the tournament upon further review of Hoopfest tournament officials. A player who makes a basket and is fouled by an opponent who receives a technical, intentional, or flagrant foul for the infraction will receive the point for the made basket, an automatic 1 point for the infraction, and the team keeps possession of the ball. Your court marshal, dressed in a red t-shirt, is there to assist and support you during the weekend. Use this resource during heated games, and if you feel you're beginning to lose control of your court, you can also request the presence of your marshal beforehand if you feel a game might be heated based on a previous situation. Monitors can quickly regain control of a court by appealing to the team captain for adult courts or the parent coach for youth courts. Ask these designated participants for assistance with players or crowd members who fail to adhere to the spirit of Hoopfest. Get on top of situations early. Don't let your court get out of control. If your appeals fail to make a difference, call your court marshal immediately to intervene. Officials at any level can expect to hear comments from players, coaches, and fans who disagree with certain calls. Objections come with the territory. However, you must stay aware and not permit these comments to cross the line. Failure to gain control of your court will make for a long weekend. Good courtside manner is a must. Players and coaches who respectfully approach you regarding a call are entitled to a reasonable explanation. Show a mutual respect for children as you would for adults. The player, coach, and team captain roles were instituted to create an avenue for monitors as well as participants to discuss concerns. Trouble generally starts during rough play away from the ball. If a monitor is aware of what's happening with all 6 players, player composure can be addressed early, before tempers flare. It is appropriate for a monitor to intercede and verbally address the nature of play away from the ball before trouble starts. In your bracket book is a yellow fold-out sportsmanship pledge, along with a carbon copy score sheet containing a sportsmanship pledge and waiver. Players are required to read and sign the sportsmanship pledge waiver. Take a moment to read aloud to the players and parent coach the yellow sportsmanship sheet. Remember to contact your marshal if you feel things are starting to get out of control. The marshal is there to lend support for potentially volatile situations. Don't wait for situations to get out of control. Keep an eye out at all times for players, fans, and coaches who are not demonstrating the spirit of Hoopfest. Hoopfest marshals, rapid response teams, and the Spokane Police Department have a right to disqualify teams, players, coaches, or fans for displaying unsportsmanlike behavior. As a monitor, your job is to point out these offenders. Teams or players removed from the tournament face a minimum 1-year suspension from the event. Hoopfest is counting heavily on our monitors to identify participants who fail to adhere to the spirit of Hoopfest. The nature of the game can be physical. These players are working hard and no foul has occurred.
That was a good example of rough play that would be legal. Positioning in basketball, getting a position and having contact is not necessarily a foul that would be called in Hoopfest. So that's legal play. Now that's an example of a ticky-tacky foul that we do not want in Hoopfest. That foul had nothing to do with the play, did not give an advantage to either player, and to come back and try to take the basket away by calling a foul that was nothing more than just barely a touch is ticky-tacky, and that is not in the spirit of Hoopfest. So that's where a monitor needs to step in and not allow players to have ticky-tacky fouls. It's important to remember in Hoopfest that we shoot all fouls, even offensive fouls. And sometimes players will want to waive free throws and play without taking the free throws, and that's absolutely imperative that we do not allow that. We shoot all fouls in Hoopfest.
The only exceptions to this rule are technical, flagrant, and intentional fouls. An automatic 1 point is awarded to the opposing team, and no foul shot is taken. Whenever a free throw is attempted, all players must be well behind the free throw line and away from the shooter. No talking or distracting gestures will be tolerated. The penalty against the shooting team for this infraction will be the loss of the foul shot. The penalty against the defending team will be to award another free throw, unless the original shot was made. The target score for all games is 20 points, meaning the first team to reach 20 points within 25 minutes of play is declared the winner. The team that reaches 20 points does not need to have a winning margin of 2 points or greater. The 25-minute clock is stopped during timeouts, and if the court monitor stops play for a player injury or any other unusual circumstance. If neither team has reached the score of 20 points, the court monitor shall stop the game after 25 minutes of play. If at this point of interruption a team has a lead of 2 or more points, that team is declared the winner. If neither team has at least a 2-point advantage, the overtime rule will be activated. In overtime, the first team to score a total of 2 points more than the leading team's score at the beginning of the overtime session or reach 20 points will be declared the winner. A coin toss will determine who gets the ball out of bounds first in overtime. Use these examples as a guideline. Score of 19-18, the first team to 20 wins. Score of 16-16, the first team to 18 wins. Score of 8-7, the first team to 10 wins. Score of 14-12, no overtime is needed since the leading team has at least a 2-point lead. Stalling is the act by a player or members of the same team purposely trying to run out the game clock. Characteristics of stalling would be excess passing or dribbling along the perimeter of the court. Players who are stalling make no concerted effort to score and will not attack the defense. Stalling is considered an